just winked out, right? And then we're driving a little bit further, and that fucking thing lit up behind us. So we just jammed, got the rest of the way. I mean, but that's the closest as I've got to like a UFO experience.
So like that's like an alien, right?
It's a UFO. You don't really see what's driving it, but it's.
I mean, I've had a close encounter with an alien.
I don't know what the fuck it was, man.
Yeah. I'll leave it there. All right.
Most Americans have though.
Mine is a second hand.
Oh shit.
That's
I got one UFO one. It's a second-hand one, but it always kind of stuck with me. Is my partner's father? He's like 72 now, but he's oldest brother. Very serious, stoic man. He's like 77 or something now. He was a train engineer. He lives in Sunderland in England, and he swears blind that when back in the 50s, when him and his sister, they both just talk about it. The guy is the most straight-laced man to a fault, and he says they walk in a Gaeltacht area in Ireland. It's where they only speak Irish. And he was walking to school with his sister, and he just seen a ship land like right there in the field, and he's seen some kind of greyish characters get out of it and all this kind of stuff. And it sounds absolutely bonkers. It sounds like they got it just coming from someone that has absolutely no time for any of that. Like he barely has a sense of humor. You know what I mean? So when he was telling you, you could just tell he looks you straight in the eyes, and it's almost like you ask him the time, and he'll tell you that story. And I believe him. Like, I mean, I believe him. I believe he believes it. I don't know, but I know for a fact that is something that he will absolutely go to his grave and swear blind happened. And I believe him 100%. I just don't know if it's true. And there is a line there. There is a difference. There's a difference between being wrong and lying. And I think that's where that exists.
Is that what you saying, that like, there's a difference between believing someone and being gullible?
Naming my sex tape.
You have a sex tape now?
No. I mean, I don't know. Like,
it's called One Less Cloverleaf. That's April?
I do. I actually I have two, but I don't know if I would believe if I saw something myself. But I was driving to my brother's house last year with my boys in the car. We were going for the weekend, and I saw something zooming in the clouds, and I was like, okay, ignored it. And then my son was like, Mom, look, there's a UFO. Look at it. And then my other son's like, yeah, it's right there. And we could see it like going in and out of the clouds, and it kind of floated, and it was like really bright. And then my boys were trying to record it because they wanted to show their uncle when we got there. And then it just disappeared. And the whole ride there, they were just talking about, what could it be? Is it really aliens? Do you think the government is like making crafts to like scare us? And that's kind of where we left off on that one.
Was it the way it was moving around the sky, kind of like, to say it zigs and zags, and in a way that you just wouldn't put down to a plane or a helicopter or anything. It just kind of juts across the sky, and it's kind of freaky. I need the footage I've seen.
Yeah, and it's like really like shiny, like it's incredibly shiny. And I mean, we couldn't really see it up close because it was further away, but the way that it was zooming back and forth and like up and down, it's not something that anything that we have created can do. So it kind of leaves us to wonder, what is it?
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think it's just preposterous to say there's no such thing as aliens. I just don't necessarily have been here. I just think in the completely expanse of the universe, there just is. It just seems to me like it's with 100 billion possibilities, no matter how rare, it's bound to happen somewhere. I just don't know if they're more advanced, but even that, I think
they'd have to be.
At some point.
Just to travel here. No, well, just to travel here.
Just to travel here. Yeah, no, if they travel here, they're obviously.
No, I mean, I don't think they're aliens at all. I think they're interdimensional beings that can go from one reality to another, or from dimensions, which I think quantum physics talks about, if I'm not mistaken, about being in alternate realities and
string theory.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So I don't think they're beings from another planet. I just think they're interdimensional beings.
That freaks me out. Not what you said. I'm just not used to talking to girls.
Oh shit, that's right. That was good shit. I like that one. That was good.
No one's best jokes are these sneaky ones, though.
Oh shit.
Well, if I could jump in real quick here,
Dude,
I don't.
dude, are you naked?
I have socks on.
You're not naked. Go ahead, gentlemen, Rob.
They're not on my feet, but I have them on. So I've personally never seen anything to make me believe that aliens have been here. Like, I've never seen anything like that, but I do agree with the amount of planets out there. Just mathematically, it's just impossible that there's not life on another planet somewhere in this giant universe. I dated a girl once that did a little reporting, and I went to a UFO meeting in Newport Beach, which is a bunch of people that believe in UFOs get together and have a meeting. And I expected, honestly, to walk in there and just meet nothing but whack jobs. And you meet ex-military people, professional like teachers, professional people that all have these stories that like these people don't sound crazy. And when they're telling you these stories, it's like you were saying, like they're just telling you like it's like they're talking about the weather. Like, this is what I experienced. And man, some of the stories, like they just sound so convincing, like the way they believe it. But I just have a hard time thinking that an alien life form has come to this planet and then just was like, all right, cool, we're just gonna get out of here now. I mean, that's just
I don't know what it is, but okay, look, let's talk about a conspiracy inside a conspiracy. So have you guys ever heard of Project Blue Book?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that this project was to discredit people who have had UFO encounters or sightings. Yeah, because they're the ones who coined the term conspiracy theory and like tinfoil hat. And they're trying to discredit everybody that had those experiences because they were secretly investigating, which is something that has been brought to light by I think people who used to work at the Pentagon, the Luis Elizondo, I believe. And they had disclosed that they have a lot of documentation of sightings and videotapes and, experiences that the military themselves have had with unidentified flying objects.
Well, it's just shit they can't prove. They can't explain it.
Exactly. And I think that's what scares us is when we find something that we can't explain. It's terrifying, especially when it's something that we can't reproduce.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's things all throughout history that have happened that we can't explain. We still can't explain the pyramids. We can't explain Stonehenge. And we kind of blame, or I shouldn't say we kind of blame, but then that's where you start getting these alien theories to go in with those just because we can't explain them. And that's how science works, though. Scientists are trying to disprove things because that's how it kind of works. Once they can't disprove anything anymore, then this must be the answer,
Yeah. Well,
there's also... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying there's just so many things out there. We don't even understand gravity still. Gravity is just a theory scientifically. We have no idea how gravity works. We know it does, but we have no idea how it works.
This is a super fucked up think tank right now.
Oh my God. Is he going to pitch fucking flat earth to us?
Cool story, bro.
It's clearly flat. You can just see it.
My whole thing about UFOs is that, like, when you weigh up all the different information or all the witness sightings, all these things through history, even more contemporary times, all right, that you still have a guy out there called Bob Lazar who swears for the last 30 years that he worked in a facility in the Nevada desert. He came in contact with two spacecrafts. Mm-hmm. One was over 10,000 years old that was brought up by archaeologists, that in that spacecraft there was advanced technology that we don't understand to this day, that they've been trying to fly these aircrafts, and they have tried to fly them, and they have flown some of them. But these things are made up of elements that weren't even on the periodic table in 1987 or something like that when he made these claims originally. And now this thing, element something, is after being like discovered in air quotes only recently, and now a lot of his claims have been proven to be true. So whether or not it's an alien spacecraft in that secret facility, but it's clear that dude worked there, he saw something, and the claims that he has made have been proven to be true over time. So whether or not we've been visited in the near future, in the modern age or in antiquity by aliens remains to be seen. But if one of these spacecrafts or futuristic crafts was found in a dig site that's believed to be 10,000 years old, that there's something about our history that we don't understand in terms of the advanced technology that once existed, or that the UFOs have visited us and have been visiting us throughout our entire history.
Well, think about the city of Atlantis. People say that they were far more advanced than we are now. And it kind of makes you wonder if the city like imploded.
You're like Aquaman?
No, not like Aquaman, but you know, who no, oh my God, what the hell is his name?
Nosferatu?
No, was it Nostradamus who said that the city of Atlantis was real, and he wrote about it, like an advanced civilization.
Plato.
Yeah, Plato wrote about Atlantis.
A lot of Nostradamus' stuff was quite vague as well.
Yeah.
You know, like the Twin Towers, he spoke about two falling brothers or something like that. People took that to be what he meant. They apply it. It can be quite loose. Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy in retrospect almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you can look at the evidence he put forth and then you can equate it or align it with something that's already happened, or you know, that kind of thing. Like
very metaphorical language, and you can say like, no, I seen two huge structures bigger than anything we have in the world. Yeah. And they both collapsed, and that would freak me out. You know what I mean? Like that.
I heard about Atlantis that it disappeared within a day or a few days. That there was a massive natural disaster. There was an earthquake that led to a tsunami because Atlantis was structured as concentric circles, and each part was like a beachhead, and it went into the main city in the middle. And because they were a seafaring nation, that obviously when this happened, they probably had the most advanced ocean-going fleet or whatever that was around at that time. And all the survivors from Atlantis probably got the fuck out of Dodge, spread out into the world, spread their technology. And that's why we see so many similarities in technology from far-flung places, from Machu Picchu.
At different places, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, the pyramid, the way it's built compared to pyramids in Mexico or in Peru and places like that, then you see the similarities in their style and the structure. And these are supposed to be people that have never come in contact with one another. So they must have had some sort of shared origin for their technology. And if you even look somewhere like Göbekli Tepe, that existed well beyond they said that people were like still hunter-gatherers 11,500 years ago. But when you look at the Younger Dryas hypothesis put forward by Graham Hancock, that human history, there's more forgotten than we already know or that we'll ever know. And I think that maybe Atlantis is a good idea or a good hypothesis for saying that maybe the survivors of this advanced civilization spread out into the world and then shared their technologies. And that's why we have so many commonalities when you look at structures and architecture and belief systems. Even when you spread them out across the world, they're always aligned in one way or another, you know.
Well, there's also proof of like UFO and strange looking like entities all over the world, in caves, inside of the pyramids, and stone carvings, and even in ancient pieces of like art and stone.
Yeah,
jelly worms.
I think it's interesting that, like, if you notice around the 50s, I feel like our technology really started to take off and has really gotten super advanced. And again, I'm not saying the aliens have been here, but I noticed that was after, you know, the Roswell incident. And all of a sudden, you know, we do now carry around stuff that is like you see in Star Trek. You know, you have the little, you know, which
some of the stuff we do wasn't even dreamed of in Star Trek. You know, it's
look at the Wright brothers compared to like when we went to the moon in the 60s, or sorry, when the American went to the moon in the 60s. That like the Wright brothers was like
don't say we, Benny. You didn't go to the moon.
Yeah, no, that's why I corrected myself.
You might get across the street.
I was like America invade us, pretend we have WMDs or something.
So, do you think the people who are keeping the shit, if they were keeping the shit, do you think they're necessarily the bad guys in the sense that we're very fucking stupid? Are we ready to be just told the absolute truth about everything?
I think everybody would lose their shit. I think
people would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
And here's
Or
the
it
thing:
would completely destroy the economy, dude. The economy would tank. The whole planet would go. It would collapse, dude.
You would ruin all religions too. Think of Christianity and Catholicism. Like that's out the window now.
Don't try me with a good time.
Catholicism is leaning into it, dude, because they have fucking
like Catholicism lean into like they lean into children.
No, they are, dude. They're leaning into the idea of
because kids like UFOs
out there. But they're saying, dude, like, God still creates that shit, dude. They just keep their deity and move it on beyond the fucking realm, dude. There's scientists that live at fucking in Vatican City, man, that are astronomers that do this shit, dude. So they are planning to rewrite their fucking religion for when this happens. You know what I mean?
Really think that
That sounds like a whole new conspiracy.
Oh, dude, I've got a couple for you. Don't worry.
I don't think it would collapse a person who is solid in their.
No, it doesn't work like that. A person is smart.
You
a
don't
group
even know
is
what
stupid.
I'm gonna say. I'm saying that when you like, I'm a Christian. I read the Bible, and I like believing in something else being out there. It doesn't destroy my belief in God. The Bible talks about fallen angels. The Bible talks about spacecrafts. It's just that people don't read the Bible in its entirety and just take out little excerpts because the Bible has a lot of really horrible things in it too, and it turns people off. But if you read the Bible like you're trying to, like a scientist, right? You're trying to see what's in there, what you can find. There's a lot of secrets in there and a lot of things that, like Ezekiel, when you read the book of Ezekiel encounters a UFO. He encounters an alien being, and it writes about it in the Bible. And so because I read the Bible and I study it, I don't feel like my faith doesn't feel shaken, because I do believe that there is something else out there that we can't explain. And I'm open to the possibility of what it is, because I don't know.
You just proved my point.
What?
You're one person.
Yeah.
One person is smart. A group is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So if you get 5, 6, 10, whatever smart people together, they turn into a group of stupid people, and they start doing stupid shit. Like
look around us right now,
or doing other shit. This right here, we can start some horrible shit right now. This is my point. Like you guys can't start shit over in Ireland. You guys just have sticks and rocks and shit. You know what I mean?
And they may break your bones.
I'm sorry. I'll think better on that next time. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like what you're saying is right. Like Young and Rob, very, very intelligent, can coherent what he says. April, very intelligent. Roman, Vinny, the Niger Care Bear over here, very intelligent people. But if you get a bunch of us together, that fight or flight thing starts to happen, and it's like in Independence Day. When everybody's up there, like some people are up there waiting for the end, and some people are fucking running scared, and then some people are shooting at the fucking. It's just once you get a group of people together, they start acting like stupid people.
Drew Care Bear.
He just saw it. I changed people's names.
I think Aileen Burnos, her last statement before she was executed was that she was going to be back on a mothership with Jesus, just like Independence Day. She actually name checked the film. She'd go July 4th or something. She's going to come back like on an American holiday with Jesus Christ in a spaceship and all this kind of shit. So it kind of falls into what April said, that there is obviously you can't have both. But there is a Venn diagram, and you can exist in between the two. But again, if somebody on Fox or somebody like Joe Rogan or somebody who has this huge platform starts freaking out, people are scared easily, and people get into groupthink very easily.
That's very true, though.
Yeah. So
if you think about if you think about what we know about aliens, it's a lot of scary stuff. It's being abducted. It's being probed. It's being like cut into.
Roman.
And there's bad stuff.
Well, it's bad stuff, and so that's why when I think about other people who say, "Oh, they're benevolent beings," okay, well then why are people scared shitless when they're around?
They haven't seen ET yet.
If ancient aliens is real, right? If that really occurred, right, and maybe all deities are based upon these advanced civilizations or advanced beings that come and visit us, like maybe we're afraid of them because back in the day, like ancient alien hypothesis says that primitive primates were genetically engineered, and that's why humans are so different and why we advanced in such a different way. That maybe that's why we have this ingrained fear of them, that maybe our ancestors of aliens, because they used to experiment on our ancestors to try to evolve us at a faster rate or some shit. That's because they kind of like, you always look to the sky when you're out for no apparent reason, and they say that's because it's actually in our genes from when the time there was giant birds that used to hunt us. So like you're constantly looking to the sky in case, it's like it's kind of trained in you. Like it's the way we can see more different shades of green than any other, because when we were primates, we'd be hunted in trees. You know what I mean?
Pica, P-I-C-A. It's about
you say trees or threes?
I said what I said.
Well, we see faces in things, like even just in the stain of wood, you might just actually make out a face. That's a condition called pica. That's a part of us as well, because obviously you'd have to be able to see a face amongst the the shrubbery or the growth or whatever, and you have to be able to pick it out. And yes, so we are. But I think the reason I think people would freak out on the mask is that imagine thinking you're the top of the food chain, and then imagine being informed that you're a goldfish in a bowl. And that there's something standing over you.
That was like that right there. That was
that's what I'm saying. Your money's worth nothing then, dude. Everything collapses, dude.
Yeah,
society falls apart.
Yeah. So even like, again, these kind of like, you know, Men in Black and whatever you want to call them, and there's all the stories about very they all strike dark figures, but I don't know if they're necessarily the bad guys, as in like we can all say the Nazis were bad guys, you know, there's no, but these guys maybe
they had some faults.
I had some bad things about them, just a little.
Not like my man Joe Stalin.
We got there. We got
to Stalin. At some point, we get to at some point.
But you know, like maybe we're not, like, or maybe we should be slowly fed the information, or maybe we're slowly figuring out ourselves, and when we get there, maybe it was time to get there.
Yeah.
Well, here's the trick I trip on though. If aliens came down here to help us advance, what was the purpose of that? Like, why? And then why would they leave?
For the fuck of it.
Because we suck.
Okay, so I got one for you. Okay. I see it this way. Every time an alien has been here, dude, it's been an accident, dude. They have never come here on purpose, dude. Every single time they've been here, it's been a fucking accident, because we don't deserve any kind of intelligence coming and giving us shit, because we just fuck it up over and over and over again, dude. So I think that every time an alien intelligence is dropped, and that's also why they keep it away from us, is because they're not coming. They're not coming here and stopping, dude. It was a fucking, I got a flat tire, landed on this planet. I'm stuck here until AAA fucking shows up, and then I'm off and we're gone and we're never coming back here.
So they're
AAA is tree aliens.
Waiting for the tow truck?
No, I think they're going to leave us alone until we can advance enough on our own to leave the fucking planet.
Well, we're fucked.
Isn't there that theory?
That's never going to happen. I feel like we have regressed in recent years.
Yes.
Well, it's like the more we advance it technologically, the kind of more we become stunted mentally as a society, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know what I mean? Because
all the basics.
Yeah, it's like when we start communicating on Facebook more and shit like that with people, so like you're seeing less people, maybe like me and Noel, even like we live like a town over, but we talk to each other mostly through text. So you're getting that disconnect. It's like that old saying, the more connected we become, the more disconnected we actually are, or some shit like that. Like, so maybe because people are kind of becoming more isolated inherently a little bit, that we're kind of becoming a bit more socially stunted at times, and that's why you see people that are kind of like a bit fucking stupid naturally anyway, and they become even more stunted. You know what I mean? Like, so there's so many fucking idiots in the world. There's 7 billion people. Like, you know what I mean? Even man, even only 1% of people are idiots in the entire world. It's like 70 million people or some shit. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, so that's all it takes. Like, and I think that's just kind of the way we are right now, that we become reliant on when there's it's kind of the case of there's so much information out there now that people are kind of drifting to what's easiest instead of what challenges them the most and what aligns with their preconceived notions. And I think that's why we're kind of getting that stuntedness in society, because you're kind of wandering into these kind of what do they call them, something bubbles, thought bubbles. Thought bubbles. Yeah, you're kind of just wandering into these thought bubbles, and if you have a preconceived notion, and I think because you can section off our knowledge now in a way that we never could before, because you have whole communities dedicated to flat earth, you have whole communities dedicated to hollow earth or whatever, and you can just like section yourself off away. And I think that's why now people have decided, because of the tribalism that's kind of occurring in nowadays society, that you have to find your little niche and you have to stick in it. And it's kind of caused people to become a bit more stunted that way, because they're less open to other people's point of views or thought process, because they feel like they're letting their side down, in air quotes, you know.
See, it's beautiful.
But I think I agree with you, and I think there's a disadvantage of not having an open mind to other people's opinions, even if they don't agree with yours, because it stops you from growing. I mean, I think I'm pretty set on a lot of things, but when I have a different opinion, I listen.
See, you fucked it. Aliens are coming now. See,
Beige is backing that ass up.
Fucked up. Those aliens, but whatever.
So I was just hinting at like our cancel culture.
Yeah. So my only like tidbit of this thing is like Vinny was saying about stupid people is I think like it's kind of like the scroll kind of thing where I don't think the dumbest people that you see are actual like human beings. I think they're aliens or fucking something like a body snatcher.
Hybrids.
Yeah, where it's just like it's somebody that's not used to being here and they don't know what the fuck's going on, so they're just acting a certain way. So they're like super fucked up and they're just like acting like a goddamn remedial retard or some shit like that. It's just them like running around like you know what I mean? Like I don't mean like special needs people. I just mean like people that just you see them like on the street and just like bumping into shit or yelling at themselves.
It's okay, Beige. You want to
There's a lot of drugs too. I've seen a lot of people on drugs doing that shit.
I don't think that's drugs though. I think sometimes that's just them and they're fucking weird and you think they're on drugs, but I think them talking to themselves is them saying, oh, you know, I shouldn't have came down here. I shouldn't have done this or that. And it's that's that fucked up part where it's like the dumbest people you meet aren't really that dumb. They're just from another planet and they don't know how to fucking function here.
So like Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Kind of. I didn't want to say body because it sounds like potty. I didn't want to give those fuckers any shine anymore.
It's what we do. We get famous properties and we steal their names. Whatever. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yeah, that's my only like conspiracy theory having to do with that, just based off the fact of like I've seen some pretty fucking enamored dumbass people, and it's just like you deserve an award for it, and it's just like you got to be from another fucking planet. Because people that come into my store and start talking to me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, cool story, bro. They just keep talking to me. They start talking about shit that like has no meaning to the conversation. And I'm just like, all right. And they walk away talking to themselves. I'm like, that motherfucker's an alien. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit that runs through my head. And it helps me because I'm just like, all right, they're not really that dumb. They're just an alien.
What I'm curious about is why are we finding out so much about it now and so willingly from your government? Like, why is all this footage being released? Commander Fravor, like, why they saying that?
It's to distract you from every time something happens in our shit, there's a distraction. Every time something happens, Michael Jackson was touching kids. Then all the focus of the world was on that. Then shit was happening with oil and everything else. And then Don was saying stupid shit like touching pussy. Sorry. And then so he was doing that. And then everybody forgot about what was going on. The shit, the deficit and the fucking money and everything is going lower and lower, and everything else is going higher and higher for what it costs. And everybody's fucking worried about like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and aliens now. No one fucking cares about like the economy or what's actually going on.
Because everyone's looking at Kanye West and Kim Kardashian like, fuck, are they aliens?
Yeah. That's my point.
Conspiracy is that they're controlling this crash that we're going to fucking land in.
I think it's
why people are angry. It's easy to control people who are angry.
Yeah.
You think it's not because, you know, anger and control, they don't really go on. But it keeps them distracted, and that's all you really care about.
Yeah, like Stalin.
Yeah, like Stalin.
Exactly. My man Joe.
I threw it in there. No, but I'm just saying, like, people do stupid shit out of fear. You know what I mean? So if you're fearful for what's going on in your life, like I can't pay bills, I can't do this, I can't. A distraction is, oh hey, they released footage of an alien. Oh yeah, we have an alien. Now your mind is taken off of your bills and what's going up and stuff costing more money and gas and all that shit gas is what we put in cars to make them go. Sorry, you guys use rickshaws and shit. But yeah, that's my point. Like I think that I think that right there keeps your mind off of what's actually going on. So for me, that's my conspiracy theory where it seems to be a distraction every time something happens.
I think that's actually measurable. I think that's just true. I think it's measurable.
I'd say it's 100% true.
To pick up on Beige's point, though, like remember Ronald Reagan made his famous address back in the 80s to the United Nations, where he said that how we'd all come together and how all our problems would seem so insignificant if we were faced with a threat from another world.
Reagan claimed to have seen one in a fucking plane, dude.
Yeah, but Reagan smashed at the end, though. He was fairly deteriorated, wasn't he?
Yeah. No. But he legitimately had a story, dude. Like they were saying before, dude. Like people that believe their story, dude. He had a story. And he looked into it. Like,
Carter was a peanut farmer. I don't know if I believe that motherfucker either.
Man, he's solid. Peanuts are delicious, man. He's solid.
Better than potatoes. Okay.
He shares like salted and roasted nuts with people, unlike most American presidents.
I have a different opinion than Beige. What if instead of a distraction, it's a way to assimilate, right, the ancient aliens that were a part of ancient culture? What if they are trying to come back? And so they've reached out to people who are in power, and they're trying to bring them back.
Who's in power?
Well, because have you guys ever heard of like Scientology? And it's a lot of like high-powered people who.
Those people are retarded.
Yeah. Well.
So it's kind of like the Court of Owls.
It's kind. Well, it's
like Batman.
Kind of like that, and then
the Hindenburg group or whatever they're called.
Yeah, and they worship an alien.
Batman.
They actually worship.
Yeah, they do worship an alien. But you got to understand, Scientology was invented in like 1974.
Yeah, by a shitty science fiction writer.
Yeah, it's just
science fiction writer. Yeah.
Like, come on, like that religion is young enough to where like my uncle can be like, nah, that's not true.
Well, not about the religion and as a whole. Obviously, it's a made up, but the fact that they believe that they're worshiping a being that they're trying to bring back into our realm of reality. It's just like I said, it's a theory that they're trying to open up our understanding of higher beings so they can come and like live among us.
Didn't the Branch Davidians believe something similar to that? Like, isn't that why they committed suicide? Because the aliens were coming and they were going to all ascend?
Yeah,
Branch Davidians.
That's awesome. Let's all drink this fucking spiked Kool-Aid and
there's
die and shit.
Isn't there a theory that like aliens came from this planet called Nibiru? Because they were depleted in gold. And their planet was depleted in gold or something.
So the best part about that shit is like if you've ever like read Mission Earth, the sun.
Rolling my bye.
Oh, I was thinking,
what? Am I fucking here?
What's happening? What's happening is the government's listening to us. They're giving away fucking secrets right now. And what's crazy is every time Roman starts talking about something that's to do with the government, his shit starts to glitch. And it's the craziest shit.
They're fucking watching.
It goes fucking black over his fucking screen, and it's like a little hand come across. Go ahead, Roman. Let's see if it lets you talk more.
Oh no, Scientology. Okay, right. L. Ron Hubbard. Read the Mission Earth fucking series of novels. There's like 15 of them, dude. And the end of it, dude, it's basically what they believe is a religion is what happens in this fucking science fiction, like huge novel series. And it's a belief, dude. Like it's a legitimate, dude. Like they get government benefits for cutting taxes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
religion, straight up.
Tom Cruise, baby.
And that man, dude, tried. L. Ron Hubbard's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy.
Long time
well, right.
Died in 86 or something. It's a long time gone.
Well, dude, even one of his kids talks out about him right now, dude. Like one of his sons or some shit, dude, is a big proponent on the shit, like throwing Scientology down in the fucking dirt. Be like, this is bullshit, man. I forget what the fuck's that guy's name. It's a Hubbard.
His name is Dave. Dave Hubbard. I hate you, Dad. There you go. Somebody was going to talk about giants, or
oh, nice.
Oh, the next one that do you guys have a topic you want to talk about?
Go with giants first.
Happy to go. Yeah.
Giants are awesome.
The Nephilim.
Nice.
She made me watch this shit. She made me watch this, and I was just sitting there. It's like rings on a snake, and I was like, "What the fuck does this have to do with anything?" I did fall asleep.
No, have you guys heard of
it? I did. She's like, "Babe, it's so great, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fucking awesome." What happened? Some old dude on the screen going, "Do you believe?"
No, he's not. Stop. That's rude. Well, okay, I listened to L.A. Marzulli. I really like him because he's very objective in his research, and he visits a lot of like Stonehenge and a lot of old I guess what like the pyramids and all that, and he believes that the Nephilim
sites kind of shit,
that the Nephilim are the ones who actually help build these, along with fallen angels, which we think are aliens. That's kind of the theory that he works on, but I just love his research because it's very in-depth, and he never makes you like whatever he believes, he tells you, I believe this, but we don't know the truth. What's the truth? Let's keep researching. And he talks about how in the beginning of the Bible, it talks about how the fallen angels mated with the humans, and they had children, and those children were the giants, right?
Right.
The men of war, which are referred to as the Nephilim.
There's your David and Goliath story.
Yeah, David. So he was a Philistine, and the Philistines are said to be a race of giants that were trying to take over in that time. And even records throughout history, Native Americans talk about the red-haired giants that they had to battle for, to have peace, because they were said to be so large that they could pick up a human being and bite off their head. And a lot of people, think it's just, Native American folklore, but they really, really believe these stories because they were passed down from like the highest chiefs to the highest chiefs, kind of like in storytelling, which is how they record their history. And recently I had stumbled upon this video on YouTube that talks about an American soldier who was him and his troopers sent to the Middle East on like the secret mission. And when they got to the place where they were supposed to extract something, they ended up encountering a giant. And they had a lot of casualties. They eventually ended up killing the giant, which was incredibly difficult. And then they took the giant and put it, to some undisclosed location. And this guy was so incredibly terrified that he just couldn't keep it to himself. So then he started telling people like what he had witnessed, because he all of a sudden believes that these
Wait, hold on. Is this like modern?
Yeah, probably in like 2010 or something. I don't remember.
I think I've heard this one. I
think I've heard this one.
Not his troop, his military troop.
Like his squad, dude. Like his fucking squad went out there to get something.
And they killed a fucking giant, and then they hit him somewhere.
Well, they took him to an undisclosed
Sure wasn't
location.
a tall dude.
The PTSD this motherfucker
He's just a really tall.
He's a really tall guy. He's like, dude, he's a fucking giant. He's like, he's a fucking giant. Kill him.
No. He was taller than that, and he was like really muscular, and he was just so incredibly terrified that he didn't renew. Like he didn't go back to the army after his time was done. He just didn't want to go back. And he really believes that there are more giants living in caves and in with the hollow earth, or like underneath the earth, just waiting to come back. And so he keeps on telling the story because he's very, very scared that there are more beings like that.
Does he get paid to tell the story?
No.
You sure?
Well, not that I know of.
But if he was getting paid to tell the story, would you believe him less?
Yes, I would. I'd be a little more skeptical.
Oh,
yeah, because that gentleman, when the gentleman spoke earlier and he's talking about his friend, he said he believed him but I was thinking to myself, because these people aren't on the circuits. It's easier to believe people it's easier to believe people when they just present something to you and they just look at you and say, no, this, and that's it. They're just telling you a story and that's the end of it. They're not going to be on Oprah talking about it.
Like, I saw a giant, and it was crazy big, man. He had muscles coming out of red hair. Oprah, do I get my check now? See, that's what I would mean. Like, if he's getting paid to do it, it'd be weird.
Man, my opinion about that kind of shit is like you have to look around the world and look at shared mythologies. All right, and you have to wonder why they're shared mythologies. You look at the Great Flood. Mm-hmm. Many countries around the world talk about Great Flood, the Noah story, and they've all got similar stories to Noah, survivors or whatever. And many traditions around the world have dragons for one reason or another, whether that be dinosaur fossils found in antiquity, and they created lore around them in the same way they did with cyclops and mammoth skulls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like with giants, you look around the world and you look at all the different mythologies, and nearly every single one of them speak about giants in one way, one form or another. So like there must be some reason, whether they were just tall motherfuckers walking around and they just got exaggerated over time. You know what I mean? That's one thing. But like I just think that like there's something to it. If enough people talk about the story, there must have been some truth there for it to be repeated constantly throughout time, all around the world. So I think giants, like, because look at some of these structures, and maybe if they didn't have the technology, maybe they just had a lot of big motherfuckers that could just carry these big stones and they could just like throw shit over. And like some of these steps are gigantic, like in some of these ruins,
Look at Vikings.
Well, they found bones.
They
have found bones. There's very few museums that bravely display like pictures of giant bones, but they have found tons and tons of huge skeletons. I'm talking about 9, 10, 11, even 12 feet. And it looks like a human skeleton, and they have 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. They found some in Catalina. They found them where like Stonehenges, they found them all over the United States. They've actually found bones by the mounds. I don't know if you guys have heard of like the mounds that are all over the United States, but they find giant skeletons by them.
Were they just dead people?
Huh?
Were they just people that were buried? Because I always
they're
try
9 feet tall. Those are giant people.
They'd be 9 feet tall. I can like
Robert Wadlow was 8'11". That was the tallest man.
Yeah, but this is my point. Like, you can get someone that's really frequently tall,
or giant genes. They're just leftover genes. It's like dogs. We've just been bred down to size.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like we were much bigger.
We've got taller though. Haven't we? Yeah. We've got a lot taller. Like.
No, I mean, like we could have bred with giants over time, and the smaller of the giants could have bred with the biggest humans.
That explains my penis.
Just kidding.
You must have bred by
No, I'm just so big compared to it.
Okay, that makes better sense. There you go. You just looked at me like,
that was it. Fucking spot on.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I just wonder how long was he sitting on that joke.
About the breeding with the
yeah, but that's my point.
Smaller.
It's sometimes it's like now kids are a lot smaller, but athletes are a lot faster. Back then, athletes were huge, but very slow. So guys were big running into each other. That's why you had like CTE problems and all that other kind of stuff. Now guys are faster. They're smaller. They can get around that type of shit. I just think breeding, it's like animals and dinosaurs. I think the Big Bang, whatever, didn't actually happen. It was more of like,
I feel a stall and drop here for a second.
I was gonna do it, but I didn't. But no, but it's about breeding. It's like if there's nothing to breed with, the thing dies out. So if someone's not asexual and cannot, breed with both, if it just dies out. Back then, I just think things died out, and like bigger giants or whatever were probably walking around, but who are they fucking? Like if you get a dude who's like 8 foot fucking 12 or 9 feet tall, fucking a girl who's like 5 feet tall, it's gonna fucking kill her.
Yeah, but look at the mountain. Dude, look at the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain, but that's the point. That's a Viking, but that
Yeah, but he's bred down. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at the biggest. There was the biggest humans probably bred with the smallest giants, quite similar to wolves and dogs. They got the biggest dogs probably to breed with the smallest wolves, and you got crossbreeds, and then you can breed them down, and now all of a sudden you got a fucking chihuahua. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like if you look at the difference between a wolf and a chihuahua over thousands of years of genetic manipulation, you look at human society, and you look at how long we've been around for way longer than we think probably, that giants, because they're all in our lores, that they must have existed in some form, whether they're, as I said, just big motherfuckers above average and just been exaggerated over time, or maybe they actually were these guys, like April said, that were related to the Nephilim, that bred with humans or genetically modified, and they were the remnants of the Nephilim, and then they bred with humans, and that's why we still have a guy like, what did you say his name is, Robert Ludlow or something, the 8'11" dude or whatever, because
Woodrow or something.
Woodrow, sorry, but because you have the leftovers in the genes. Because one thing we've shown that if you look at through human history, that there's all these different offshoots of the human like species, the Denisovans, the Neanderthals, and we interbred with all these because there's a close enough linkage there in terms of our DNA makeup. So if we were close, or if we were manipulated by these Nephilim at any stage in our existence, and that made our DNA close enough to theirs, and we became bigger because of it, then maybe there was some sort of interbreeding in the same way we did with Neanderthals, Homo sapien sapien, and the same way we did with fucking Denisovans, and we bred them out of existence to think as much as we wiped them out.
Maybe we were better off being this size. Maybe it was easier to survive, to be a bit faster, to be a bit more wily, as opposed to a bigger target. You know what I mean?
That's it,
that's like, it's just survival. It's all evolution really kind of boils down to, is whatever.
And what do we do? What's the human's best gift? We adapt to our environment. You know what I mean? We've done it throughout our history. That's why we populate every corner of the globe, and we're the only species that does that. Like,
Irish people
to kill shit. Yeah, Irish people, exactly.
Hashtag to kick rocks down the fucking road, so you might as well.
You don't like kicking rocks? What's wrong with this guy? You don't like rock and roll?
Yeah, that was nice. That was a shitty pun, but that was nice.
I enjoyed it, and that's all that matters to me.
It's all good. So we talked about. So I have a question for you guys. What if you guys found out all of these conspiracy theories that you have in your head were all false? Like, someone gave you concrete evidence, but it was false.
love stories.
Would that deter you? And would you be like, fuck, and be sad and shit? Or would you be like, or would you just go on about your life like, fuck it?
Give
No,
an
and
example of how it would
Like,
be
let's say
debunked.
aliens weren't real. Let's say it's
What
been
are
a
they?
conspiracy. Let's just say it's just been a big fucking conspiracy,
By
and
the
the government,
government?
and the government is doing it to a point of every time something happens, it's, oh, look at this hand,
Distraction,
jerk
yeah.
you off with this hand. That's my point. You know what I mean? Like, what if you guys found out aliens weren't real? Like all those fucking people that were people that either were paid or were
Controlled opposition.
Yeah, we're crazy, just batshit crazy.
I'd be disappointed, I think, but I don't think
I
I.
would be a little disappointed too.
But if it was empirical evidence, if it was just,
Yeah, I mean,
if it just passed the smell test,
concrete evidence.
yeah, then I think there's too many. You know, I think people study for years and years, and they like become an economist, and then like Tucker Carlson might say, "Oh, this guy's an idiot," and people will go, "Oh yeah, no, that guy's an idiot." You know what I mean? I do think we buy stuff too quickly from a few talking heads. I just use him as an example because he has such a huge audience around the world.
He's a cunt.
And he's not bright.
And he's a cunt.
Carlson is not
I heard
bright.
Jon Stewart say that he looks like someone's giving him a confusion enema.
Yeah, he looks confused. You ask him a question, he's like,
and his wig is working overtime as well. Like.
It is. There you go. All right, cool. It's good. No, but that's my point. Like, I want to know, like, if it's like I got into a conversation with April about religion, and it's more like, why do you believe what you believe? And
Can I just ask? Can I just interject and just ask?
Yeah.
So April has got very strong faith. That's fair to say, April. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you, Beige, where would you be then on the spectrum inside of that relationship?
Middle. No,
Middle.
I'm not leaning.
What's middle mean?
He's on the fence in case it's real. I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry. Let me in heaven, baby Jesus.
Yeah, or he's just like, in the name of the Father and the Son, and no, that's it.
Just repent.
No,
Just
but
repent at the end, man.
Ghost.
like, my mom is Catholic, obviously, and then like, so I am. So it's more of a point, like, I don't like practice it, but it's more of a like, okay, what religion are you? I'm Catholic. So I'm not like April, where I believe that there's a higher power. I believe there's another being. I think we all, it's like those people with the tarot cards. I believe that your destiny, whatever, is by your choices. What you do is based
so
on
you
what
basically are
happens
playing the
in your
safety
life.
net.
Huh?
You're playing the safety net. You're like, I don't really believe this, but I'm going to claim it. So if something happens, I'm still safe.
If fire starts coming out of the sky, I'll be like, dude, I was with you all day.
Right.
I'm an atheist, but I have to admit, I was flying back from Tenerife about 10 years ago, and the plane dropped 1,000 feet out of the sky. I found God real quick.
He was like, dude, Jesus, man, you were cool, dog. Like,
But we just hit what's called apparently an air pocket. I don't understand the physics of it, but we just dropped. I mean, we just literally free fell, and it, like fucking one woman had to be like sedated. It was real fucking bad, and I'm just like holding the seat, and then it was just like I just found myself doing the all.
No, it's like sedating her, share some love. I was like, in the neck,
That's good shit.
Can I just say one thing though about the way nowadays we complain about remakes and reboots, and if you look at religion, all right, they've been remaking and rebooting shit for fucking ages, man.
Yeah,
they have. That's true.
Yeah, like so maybe there was one true God one stage at a time, or there was many gods and they had an origin at one stage or another. But a lot of these newer religions, because humanity is so old, are based on much older religions, and they've co-opted a lot of their belief systems, and a lot of their belief structures, and a lot of their gods. And I just think that if you do that, you're just like, who am I believing here? Like if all gods are either real or none of them are. You know what I mean? In that kind of sense, because they're all a lot of the times based in the same kind of origins. Are
you trying to all lives matter God?
All gods matter.
Very good.
I'm polytheistic. What can I say? It's who I am, Noel. It's who I am. Thank you, Jupiter.
Lord Jupiter.
Can I throw Mercury a dab?
Going to hell. But he's going to hell with gasoline draws on.
Or Hades. You never know. I cover my bases.
I think there's a difference between like capital G God and like lowercase gods. Because even like Greek and Roman mythology talk about gods that had powers and things like that.
But the scale of like not creating the universe, but yeah.
And so like God is the creator of the universe and of all of us, including the little g gods, which also are said to have been alive, still alive. You know, again, there's a belief that the little g gods were actually the fallen angels. If you look at some of the things that the Bible say about the angels, is that they look weird. They have like the body of a human and maybe like one or two heads of animals, and they have specific powers and abilities that we don't necessarily possess as human beings. And so our spirit that is in our body has that ability, but we're not a spirit, we're a flesh being.
Yeah.
And so when you kind of look at it that way, it makes a little more sense. And it kind of explains the mythology that we have in like with the Greeks and the Romans, where they talk about these beings who are gods because they have abilities that we don't.
Can I jump on your point there, April? Because like when you speak about Greek mythology, because they like a lot of times talk about the gods as if they're just gigantic humans, like maybe like that kind of talk, like the Nephilim and stuff. And if you look at the Prometheus myth, where he gave fire to man and the gods punished him, maybe he was like a rogue Nephilim or rogue alien or whatever, and he gave us advanced technologies because they're the things that they could do that we could not. We look at advanced technology, and if you're a primitive person, you perceive it to be magic or sorcery. And like maybe Prometheus, they gave us fire in like air quotes. When they say fire is like advanced technology, he gave us like the kind of the key to Pandora's box, and we open it, and then he like got punished because they say Prometheus at the end of every day he gets his liver eaten by an eagle or some shit like that forever and ever and ever on end.
Yeah.
Have you guys read the book of Enoch?
Yeah,
so that kind of talks about what you're saying, the rogue fallen angels who intermingled with humans, and they weren't supposed to do that, and they taught how to like make weapons, how to start wars, how to like women how to paint their faces, and teaching all this technology that they weren't supposed to necessarily teach us. They were rogue.
I always just thought that people like a good story. You know, and
very true.
It's true, but it's true. We carry stories with us, and it used to get you over a long night, you know. But also, I think believing in a higher power makes just the idea of existence a lot less scary, because I think we're smart enough to actually ponder our place in the universe. And I think there has to be, you know, I think they did a study where they got some people of different faiths, including people who were just spiritual or meditated or you know, did goat yoga or what have you, and they find activity in a certain hemisphere of the brain that heightens in every single case. It wasn't, you know, it's just somewhere you can go in yourself that just creates a calm or a homeostasis inside of you. And I don't know. I mean, I'd throw it on the table as an argument.
Dude, have you ever thought that your inner monologue inside of you is actually like you're being player controlled?
Oh, no.
Inside your head, there's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that shit.
Yeah, that's
and when someone goes crazy, they just say, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm going home." They just leave.
It's your hood. It's your heads up display, like, you know what I mean? Like, so your inner monologue is just like, that's what I think. Like, if you believe in simulation theory, that like if we are being like if we're just being controlled by a player, that our inner monologue, because there's kind of no reason why we can actually hear our voices in our own head and why we can speak to ourselves. Like, if they ever like, is there an explanation for that?
You know, some people don't have that. They don't have inner monologues. That freaked me out when I read it.
Those are the aliens.
They bloody are. Because
not everybody hears
fucking told you. Steve,
they're NPCs. They're
NPCs. They are NPCs. Came right back around again. It's the Corvallis, Batman, and Stalin all over again.
Yeah, that's why Stalin was like just throwing Russians at the front line. He's like, they're NPCs, don't worry. They're NPCs, it's okay. I'm going to level up in about 50 more Russians. Have any of you ever listened to Hollow Earth?
Hollow Earth?
Yeah, like reptiles living below the surface, that sort of thing.
There have been some interesting stories about that. I don't know. This was probably back in like the 80s and 90s. There was this expedition group who found a super deep hole that led to what they believe they called like the Devil's Pit. And they believed the pit went to the middle of the earth, to like the core. And so they had a woman, I believe it was a woman.
They threw her in there?
No. They like harnessed her, and she took a camera with her, and
They threw her in there.
No, they didn't throw her in there.
Gently lowered her in.
That's a nice way of being like, oops, we dropped her.
The gentlest sacrifice of all time.
Pictures on her way down. She took pictures. They're pretty pictures.
They hoisted her nicely down. Okay, jeez. Well, she was supposed to be taping and recording what was going on. And it came a point where she started tugging on the rope, and there was like screaming and growling and like weird noises happening. And they were trying to pull her up, but they couldn't. It got stuck, you know, all that stuff that happens. And when she came up, she didn't have the camera anymore. And they claim that her hair was completely white, that she couldn't talk. I think she ended up going to a mental hospital, but whatever she saw or experienced when she got to a deeper part of the cave, and nobody ever wanted to go back after that. They were just terrified by the way this woman came out of the devil's pit.
That's the movie Old.
No, honey, it actually.
Yeah, that's the movie Old.
I've never watched it.
Yeah, they go to.
Well, don't ruin it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I'm not ruining it. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm not saying, but I love
Most
that
is
movie.
good movie.
It fucking sucks.
Ooh, what a twist.
Oh, they're old. Like, dude, I'm sorry, this tangent. They show the fucking whole movie in the trailer.
Do you think she was
I
scared?
hate when they do that.
Like, the whole fucking movie.
I hate when they do that.
Do you
I
think
hate
that
when they
woman-
go the other way as well. Did you ever watch the trailer? It's just completely random. You just, you know, there's a
They
car
go see the
chase
movie,
or
it has nothing
something.
to do with the trailer.
Yeah,
It's
about
shit
bunnies.
not even in the
It's not about
movie.
bunnies.
Yeah.
It's not about bunnies.
This is why I don't freaking
There's
go see
no bunny.
comedies, man. Every time you see comedy, all the best jokes are in the trailer.
Yes. Actually, that's the thing. It's the only thing I don't. I like 99% of what I watch is American, but I don't watch the comedy films.
No, you
I watch the comedy shows, but I don't watch the comedy films. They're so fucking formulaic. They're all the same film.
They
So
are.
I just same jokes and everything. It's just bad.
Do you think that
You know how
woman's
it's gonna
hair
play
went
out as
white?
soon as you watch it.
Do you think that woman's hair went white because they threw her in a fucking hole?
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Dress the fuck out. She's like,
What did you see down there? It's like,
I've heard people.
Like, you
It
just threw
sounds
me
like
in.
hell. Yeah.
They dropped her halfway down and caught her again, and it shook her so bad that
smell like shit because you shit on her.
it jarred her fucking spine. She couldn't even walk anymore. They threw her in a fucking mental home
See,
to get rid of her.
You thought
Hoisted her
You thought she got
into a
older.
mental home.
Yeah, she thought she got older. She got stressed out, and that's why her hair went white. You yanked her. That's why her back got broke. So that's why she couldn't really move. She might hit a fucking rocks. That's why she was nuts and shit. So you bring her back, you hoist her back up. Like, how you doing? I'm okay.
I don't forget, this woman
Mental
started
hospital
out
for
as
you.
somebody who was willing to go down that hole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it was willing. They threw her, man.
Russia, willing. It's
Yeah.
Russia. You're like willing to go down the hole.
Yeah,
She
that's
got
a good
fucking
point.
thrown down the
Hole.
hole.
There's a fucking hole. Hey, gentleman Rob, go jump in that fucking hole. Take a picture on the way down.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's like who willingly goes in the place they're calling Devil's Pit. Like,
Not only that, we think it's a pit to hell.
Yeah,
Just saying, like, fucking.
She goes
Hey,
down
go
there.
ahead.
Did you see hell? She's like, I don't know. Did you see hell? We're gonna put you lower. Go lower.
Right.
Go lower. Let your feet touch the ground. It's all good. Roman, are you wearing a Rick and Morty sweater?
Oh yeah,
Dude, that shit's dope.
I love this fucking sweater. It's so warm.
And how do you
So
like the
fuzzy.
Squid Game shirt?
Huh?
Vinny?
Yeah, Vinny's got squid.
Yeah, Tesco.
I thought you guys couldn't watch that Netflix over there.
This fucking guy.
No, I always forget. Is it Hulu or is it Netflix?
Hulu and HBO Max. We don't have
Okay, that's what it was. I wasn't making fun of you living in a village. I was just fucking. It is.
It's a shire, man. Okay, with unexpected adventures all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes Gandalf comes around, gives some pipe weed.
Anybody over 5'8" is Gandalf.
Yeah, he's like,
oh, like, no, he's nice.
he's like, Vinny, fuck off. I'm a postman.
Fine, keep your secrets.
This is the funniest conspiracy theory ever. Yeah, I know Roman wanted to talk about some kind of
Was it the Denver International Airport's fucking got some crazy conspiracy shit around it. It was built in like 95, should have been done in like 93. It was like $6 billion over budget or some shit. There was buildings that were built like kind of into the ground and then built over the top of them. So there's theories that there's like multiple layers to this thing. It's claimed to be like an Illuminati point, like a headquarters for when everything goes to shit. It supposedly has tunnels from it to a military base and into this fucking mountain. There's a center stone like at the beginning of this place, or in the middle of the airport, that is dedicated by like a company that doesn't exist, and their name's like the New World Order kind of shit. The murals and the paintings that they have in there are some of them are really off the wall to where they're depicting almost like an apocalyptic kind of scenes. And the best part about this whole fucking thing is like this airport has leaned into the conspiracy theory of the airport, and there's now an animatronic gargoyle that sits at the airport, and you can walk up to it and ask questions about the conspiracy theories of the fucking airport, and it'll give you answers.
Oh,
Wait, is this the airport that has a train in it?
no, that's a train station.
The train.
I don't know if it has a train in it, but this is the Denver International Airport. Like, there's so much crazy shit that go around this fucking thing.
Okay, you're laughing, but I went to an airport in Denver. I mean, in Colorado. I don't remember which one it was, but it had a train station inside of the airport.
Some of them actually, I was teasing. Some of them do because they're literally that fucking huge.
Yeah. I don't know if that was it or not. I didn't get that far into it. I was reading all the queer, like crazy weird shit. They didn't tell me about trains.
The one with the bear. The one where that guy showed that thing of the bear.
More info, I think.
The grizzly man.
It was a fucking bear, like in the middle of the airport. You remember, Roman?
Oh, where was that? That was in a fucking.
It's in India, right?
It was in India. Yeah.
Fucking,
and that huge fucking giant stuffed bear that was like fucking 70 feet tall, dude, and huge.
The guy's just like, oh, it's supposed to help you if you're a little kid. I'm like, what the fuck would that help you? It's a 70-foot goddamn fucking grizzly bear. Like,
it was creepy looking, and like one eye was like halfway falling off of its face and shit. It just didn't look right, man.
It's a big ass nanny cam. It's really weird. Just like kid.
Hey, don't mind that back wall there. Not suspicious about that 80-foot bear.
The eye that follows you around.
Roman, what's something that's happened at the airport that's weird or odd?
Weird or odd? Well, just the embracing of it, and like it's just with the New World Order on the plaque in the beginning of the place, it automatically draws into the conspiracy theory of like Illuminati shit, right? And it does
invites it though, it seems, as well, doesn't it?
But it does. It's almost like it slaps it in the face at the same time. It's interesting. It's kind of like the Georgia Guidestones in a way. Like it's just there and it almost explains itself, but it doesn't really. And it kind of almost makes a joke of it through the whole thing. Like
hiding in plain sight kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, and it's just coincidence is the whole thing around this place. There's nothing really justifiable at this fucking airport to say any of this is real, other than, you know, the amount of money that it was over budget on, you know, being able to see it was developed, and there's definitely layers underneath it. Like
it's just all strange in general.
It's all general and strange and fits theories, and they like leaned into the whole fucking thing. So there's murals in there that automatically, like, you can look at them and be like, man, that's kind of look fucked up. And even with the gargoyle, like they lean so far into it. Like you've seen the animatronic, like a Transformer dude, fucking that talks to kids and shit at Universal Studios, right? It's basically a little teeny tiny fucking gargoyle that you can ask conspiracy shit at that fucking airport, and it interacts with you.
Oh, I love that.
Is it possible that they just lean into it to kind of discredit them themselves, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
That's
right there.
That's why it's so interesting
and not
it's
hidden.
Crazy.
Stop questioning it,
right? Because if you just kind of go into it like, yeah, it's all conspiracy shit, then it's like you're kind of taking the value away from the claims that are being made.
Exactly.
You know, it's like when people call my mom a whore. I'm like, yeah, she is, and it's like, oh fuck, now I can't cuss you out no more.
Yeah. But you know, when people are, I always think the thing that hurts conspiracy theorists most are conspiracy theorists. As in, if there's someone running around screaming about gay frogs, and there's someone running around screaming about flat Earth, and then there's someone running around screaming about, you know, reptiles are about to come through the floor, and then there's somebody who tells you something that was really, really thought provoking, it gets lost in that.
Dude, they actually did feminize frogs. Did you not hear about this?
What?
No, I did not hear that.
Right. So,
Oh yeah.
so in America, there's a particular pesticide that you use, and it like
Turn the frogs gay.
yeah, pretty much what happened was it was actually feminizing frogs. Like it actually was.
Wow.
Like 70% of your crops or something is using this pesticide. And there's this guy who was like one of the inventors. He worked for this company, probably Monsanto, allegedly, not getting sued. But like he literally just said that like there's the side effect of this chemical is that they're actually feminizing frogs. And like Alex Jones came out and said it, and like he's like supposed to be this nut job or whatever. Yeah, but like sometimes it's like the messenger kills the message, like Noel says. That like but I listened to this guy. He said he worked for the company, whether it's true or not. But if you're going to listen to someone about a story that's as outlandish as frogs being feminized, a guy from the company who says that he worked on it and made this claim before it was recently publicized, that he's the guy to listen to or whatever the fuck. But like, you know, sometimes like Noah says, the messenger kills the message, you know.
I thought frogs had the ability to change their
right.
sexuality.
In the case if they had to, you know, they can.
Right.
But if it's something that they can do, then that it kind of makes sense that there might be a chemical reaction that can be introduced to force that to happen.
if there's evidence, I buy it. You know what I mean? I admit I'm wrong. And
now I see why you had the French eat frogs, because that frog looks delicious.
Oh my god! People listen to.
No, I think that sounds pretty believable. I could see that they freaking came up with something and reduced the population of frogs.
Because they like it's been documented in humans that certain things have been added into to treat the animals that we get our food from, and it's affected people by like women maturing younger than they normally had or whatever, that kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? So like that is, it's like you say, I'm Gentleman Rob. That's your name, right? But like it's like a chemical imbalance. It's one of those things. You just add something, and it's like a frog. If it can switch its genders like that, like so, you just add something into its environment or into the diet that it's eating, and
it makes its body think that it needs to do that.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like, you know,
there's got to be a chemical reaction that happens. So, I mean, why not introduce that chemical? And I agree with what you're saying too. Like, I think that they have been for so many years, whether it was done maliciously or not, adding hormones and stuff to animals to make them bigger or whatnot to feed more. But I definitely think that affects people. I mean, how can you think the things you eat don't affect you? You know, if you're going to be taking that stuff in, like it's going to throughout the generations, it's going to start to affect us and change us.
There is a story from way back. A friend of mine told me, so this is secondhand, but he said there was, I don't know, somewhere in Eastern Europe, there was a factory that was, of course, using like hormones and stuff to make their chickens develop faster, plump up faster, slaughter them faster. And the poor ass people who worked there used to be able to keep the necks because there was literally no value in the necks. But that's where they were injecting the hormones into the chickens. So these guys were going home and making their stews and shit, and then it started to it started to actually affect them. Their estrogen levels went through the roof. Now they didn't like suddenly have a vagina or some shit like that.
Robert Paulson though, order.
Well, there's a lot of proof that, you know, the chemicals that are in our food do get into our body. A lot of it doesn't know.
100%, yeah.
And like I had taken my kids to Cancun a couple years back to this, you know, and we don't like I'm from Mexico. There's not a lot of places that use, like, we're not that developed to use all these chemicals on our food, just like probably like the bigger areas. And so if you go to Mexico and you order a chicken, you get this tiny little chicken leg and you look at it because you're coming from America, you know, and it's ginormous. You have this big fucking huge right leg. You go to Mexico, it's this tiny little leg. So my boys were like, what is this, Mom? I'm like, that is a real chicken leg. There's no hormones in it. It's all natural. My kids are like,
yeah,
like 10 of these.
It's kind of scary when you
think about
it.
And
even your kids can pick up on it, you know, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when you're trying to feed 300 million people, you can understand somewhat why they would do this to create this massive production, because billions of chickens are eaten just within America every year. Like, you know what I mean? Same around the world. Like, if you have to produce billions of chicken, or if you have to produce hundreds of millions of cattle every year to keep a global food source going, you can, it's not right, but you can kind of understand it. Like, we give him this to make him grow quicker or whatever.
Oh, yeah, we're part of the problem. This isn't just something that, like, we're a part of the problem.
Yeah, but like as many farmers as there used to be. That's another thing too, is if we had more farmers, there wouldn't be a need to do all this. But the farming industry is a lot smaller than it used to be.
Got quiet.
I got the government censoring her.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, I don't know if it was originally done maliciously. I agree that they probably did inject hormones to try to beef these things up because the population grew and you need to feed people. But I mean, like, I still think it affects us. And I think
100%.
Yeah. I mean, whether you think that's good or not, that's on you. If you want to eat that stuff or you don't, again, on you. But I definitely think it affects you.
Are you a vegan?
No, not at all.
I thought the vegan snake was coming up there. Do you know?
Hey, look,
you're like a hipster.
Vegans and vegetarians. I happily eat vegetarian all the time. I think people should eat more funky vegetables. But
I've gone down on vegetarians once or twice. Amazing. You know what I mean?
What's the joke? I'm vegetarian. Toss my salad.
But like, one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that I don't think the Egyptians built the pyramids.
I don't think so either.
It was the slaves?
No, I don't even think like slave, because like back then when people think of slaves, it's like what they would do is they would build a community next to a massive project, and then they would, like, your father would teach you his trade, he would die, and you would continue on the job. That's what they taught, like, you know what I mean? But I think when you look at the technology that we think, or that we know that Egyptians back then had available to them, and the monuments that they built, if you look throughout time, that the more modern pyramids are actually worse than the more ancient ones. So that shows that there's a loss of technology or a loss of knowledge throughout time. So it shows to me, or tells me, that like the people that they accounted or credited for building these great pyramids, I think it was a guy called Amenhotep, the guy that from like that's supposed to be the mummy movies, Imhotep, but he was a famous architect, but he's credited for making it for one of the famous pharaohs and shit. But like, I think that if you look at some of the steles and stuff, that there's actually record of repairs being made on the Sphinx well before, like, it's been accredited to these certain pharaohs, but like they've actually said that they kept up maintenance on these the fucking backgrounds in the but
gentleman Rob.
But they've made a record of keeping up maintenance on these structures as if they've existed long before we think they have. So I just think that, like, there's a civilization that existed probably before the Egyptians, and maybe the Egyptians just kind of carried on their technology, or what they knew of their technology, because like it seems to me that their technology got worse and worse throughout time instead of getting better, if you look at the pyramids and how they were built.
You guys are smart.
Have you guys heard of the new theory that somebody was pushing, that the way that they built the pyramids was that they somehow floated? they filled these waterways with enough water so the stone would float all the way up to the top of the pyramid. And I think I saw it on like the History Channel or something, and it didn't make sense to me, because aren't stones supposed to be heavy? So how do they float?
Water's more dense.
Yeah, given enough water that
you distribute the weight. So what you do is you'd put it on a raft, and then the raft would distribute the stone's weight so it would stay on the surface of the water, and then you can flow it. That's how they kind of moved the Statue of Liberty. The French didn't just ship it over, literally.
That's interesting.
Vinny, how much shit do you know? You just
yes.
I watched a lot of Ancient Aliens.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I live in a village, man. There's nothing to do but read and watch it. You know what I mean?
That's true. I'm not gonna. Yeah,
I'm like a dude from the 1800s, you know.
So I got something I want everybody's opinion on that I've always kind of thought was interesting and kind of seems to make sense, but whatnot. After World War II, do you think the Nazis fled to Argentina and set up a little German town and then existed in Argentina for essentially till present day?
Mengele died of a heart attack in a pool in Argentina, didn't he? and he was like one of the biggest
I
monsters.
thought he was in. Well, I think they
He was in
claimed he was in
Paraguay.
Brazil, but
Brazil,
working
was
on
it?
twins.
It's in Chile. There's a Bavarian community. Navidad. No, they changed the name now, but I'll check it up. But they've there was a whole documentary about it, about these two people that tried to escape it. So like, I think 100%. If you look at the fascist dictators that spread up in South America post World War II, like you look at Brazil, you look at Argentina, and you look at Chile, like they're all places that claim to have massive Nazi sightings after World War II. So it makes 100% sense that like they went there and they had plenty of influence because of hidden wealth. And then they just kind of like, filtered their fucking belief systems into theirs. And then they kind of created their own version of Nazism kind of in disguise nearly.
I think they came here to the United States. A lot
Oh,
of
we definitely brought the scientist. Yeah, we definitely took some of them for sure.
Colonia Dignidad in Chile, sorry.
I think that we allowed other Nazis to come and live among us because I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of the like people, like Jewish people. I'm not the Jews that came to live here, and then
You said Jews?
They came to live here in the United States, and then they recognized Nazi leaders that like tortured their family or killed their family, and then they were brought to justice here in the United States.
Imagine that on the other side of the fucking planet, and
War
you run
crimes,
into
baby.
somebody. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think that's terrifying, and I then that's why I really believe that maybe they spread to other parts of the world, but they came here too.
For sure.
Yeah, there seemed to be
We're able to-
President Juan, whatever his name was in Argentina at the time. He seemed to be very sympathetic to them, so they knew they wouldn't get extradited. America, to be fair, to their credit, brought a lot of these fuckers to justice. But obviously, if you're very smart, you're still worth something.
It's a case of lesser of two evils, isn't it? Like if you don't take a Werner von Braun, you don't take some of these Nazi scientists, that you either kill them or you allow the Soviets to take them, and then they get that technology. You know what I mean? So it's a case of like, at the end of a war, what do you do when you go into a country? You divide all its resources, and what was the Nazis' top resources was their scientists. Because look at their wonder weapons, whatever they used to call them, these V2 rockets, like in these jet propelled engines that they had in their planes.
They created the U-boat.
Yeah,
U-boat was amazing. Like
the jet, dude. The jet. They had, if they could have mass produced the jet, that could have swung a whole different battle for them, dude. But they were there.
They created methamphetamines.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like, they think that's the problem with the Nazis, that like after a while, because there's such a lack of natural resources within Germany in terms of like ore and shit like that to make these, and they did no real natural diesel depositories, that Hitler became fascinated with these wonder weapons, that they figured that they could just turn the tide eventually with this technology. And because a lot of people talk about his fascination with the cult, was it the Order of Thule or something? And like, so maybe because that's kind of bled into his fascination with finding these wonder weapons was what was the fucking thing that was supposed to be this power source, krill or some shit, and it was supposed to be this like fantastic power source. It was like supposed to be never ending, like perpetual energy, that like they were supposed to be trying to find it. That's what they were looking into the occult. That's the thing, like, man.
Yeah, that's what I literally was wondering if we were.
Like, are we moving to the Avengers now? Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
No, but I understand what I've read what you're talking about.
And that's what that
sounds like.
That's what Hydra's based on.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I know that we have well, the United States has links, or rumored, links to funding Nazi experiments.
Oh, we totally do. Henry Ford taught freaking Hitler how to use the assembly line so they could mass produce the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Walt Disney was a huge fan of freaking Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Nazi party in the United States at the same time.
These had great cartoons, though, in the.
Have you not seen the Donald Duck?
The Donald Duck was fucking rough. The Donald Duck cartoon did not age well. That shit is bad. Donald Duck wearing a sweat, hand up and shit. Well, it was weird. That killed my childhood.
I think if they hadn't bombed,
man, I've never seen the Nazi version. It's like Himmler Duck.
Yeah. It's real. You can look it up. It's on YouTube.
I think if we bombed Pearl Harbor, we probably wouldn't have been in the war. We would have just Germany would do what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been fucking dragged on for years. It would have been, absolutely, yeah.
So
that's the thing.
Do you believe in false flags?
What?
That's a big conversation in America. False flags, fake mass shootings,
false
shit
flags,
like that.
Oh,
because like
Yeah.
No,
That's
I
a-
mean more like Pearl Harbor. They allowed it to happen so America could actually get in the war.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That
Because if you look at most of the fleet was actually out of the dock, like most of the ships that were in the dock were like being decommissioned or they're older.
we were aware that attack was
You know,
coming a couple hours before it happened. We did nothing about it. Let it happen.
I wasn't in the movie. I don't know.
It was-
Dubious claim.
You haven't seen the director's cuts. It's in the deleted scene.
Tomorrow I'm gonna be trying to text Roman. He's some guys gonna show up to his house in a black van. Gentleman Rob.
Yeah.
Some guys gonna come by in a rickshaw to fucking, Vinny's village and be like, "Hey, you want some
rickshaw?"
It'll just be bad. We're all gonna die. Oh, we're all fucked. You guys gave out secret.
No, we don't have the Men in Black just yet. We have the Black
Yeah,
and Tans, but that's a different story.
You do have the
That's a different story. Yeah, fucking hell, dude.
you have the black hand. The Irish black hand's nice. It's good shit. Anybody else have anything before I stop this shit? What the fuck is that?
Don't know. Like another.
Sounds like a
There's a conspiracy theory taking place in front of
Massive
Beij's very
vibrator.
eyes. You've what?
Oh, somebody's drilling.
sounds like a massive vibrator.
Yes, April, somebody's drilling.
Somebody's drilling.
Eli found his friend. Okay.
Oh, I have a conspiracy theory to touch on before we go. Millhouse isn't real. He's not. It's 100% not real.
I don't know, dude. There was somebody
It's
there.
a
one
Fight Club
time,
situation.
and actually, when I met him, he didn't go by Millhouse, so I don't even know if that was actually him.
Well, there you go. No, it's a Fight Club. It's a Fight Club situation that
Rob
Bish has
has
going on
sat
in his
next
head.
to him. Rob has sat next to Millhouse. Rob
April isn't even on camera. He's, I don't know. I think
April is Millhouse is the actual conspiracy.
No, she's not Millhouse. But John and Rob has sat next to Millhouse, so he can attest to his him being real.
Yeah.
Come into the bar.
Anecdotal
work
evidence.
I doubt it. Highly
Your
doubt
real
it.
name.
Oh, his real name is Fernando.
Fernando, dude. Yeah, because I met him as Fern.
Fernie?
He-
Yeah, Fernie.
Fernie.
But yeah, he's Millhouse because he
Do
looks.
you know when you met him? Was there some?
Huh?
When you met Fernando, was there something in the air that night?
There was.
You should have seen the way he handled his microphone, dude.
Yeah.
I have never seen a man put hands on a microphone like that. It was,
Dragged his fingers across the cord,
oh man,
touched the top, pulled the popper off, and then put it back on.
hell of a dancer right here, though.
Oh,
Hell of a dancer right here.
he's a professional salsa dancer.
See,
I've heard this
this is
too.
exactly why I know he's not real.
This is it
You're
builds
just
to more
saying
and more,
shit at a
right?
certain point,
It's-
He's real. He's a salsa dancer. He's
No, it's fucking real. He's a professional salsa dancer.
He talks about it.
Like, he went to Hawaii, he went to Chile, Brazil, all these other places to dance salsa with his team. It's fucking real. I thought it was bullshit too until he showed me
his
videos.
favorite season is spring. He bought an orange just to lap at it.
He's a real person.
He's actually a good conspiracy theory because I've never met him either.
You're lying.
Oh, here we go.
He's mad if he's been in the house before.
I've
so-
never
He's not real.
I've
Your
never-
wife
You've
hasn't
never
been.
personally met him. You've seen him.
I've never met him. Like, hi, how are you? Nice to
Oh,
meet
but
you.
you've seen him, correct?
Beige is like fucking James McAvoy in Split. He's like, that wasn't
Yeah.
me. That was me.
No, I think Bayes is just like having a realization that he's just Fight Clubbed himself, and it's just April. Ask him if this is a test.
Hold on, April. What did you say Millhouse looked like?
He looked like a serial killer.
Oh, beige. It's beige.
He doesn't smile. It's a stare sometimes until you
Yeah.
say I'm like really
Goes places dancing in quotes now, dude. I take trips and go dancing.
He's a dancing serial killer.
No. See what?
That's how he meets his victims, the salsa dancing.
Oh my god,
That's what I'm saying.
this is a strangler.
The salsa strangler.
No, see what you guys are doing? You guys are feeding.
Cha cha cha.
And dip and
It's like
strangle.
he killed a woman and moved away as gracefully as small.
See, the first time you guys told me that you thought he was like a conspiracy, like Milhouse wasn't real. That shit hook, like, and sinker. He was just like, every time someone comes on, I'm not gonna fucking be there. I'm gonna fucking talk and shit. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's gonna be helpful.
No, that's it. That's the conspiracy theory I want to end
That's the
on.
conspiracy theory now that Milhouse is not real.
Research Milhouse. Hashtag research Milhouse.
Before we go, can I throw one at you? There's a conspiracy, or there's a theory anyway, at least, that Jesus Christ is the first Buddha.
A what?
The first Buddha?
Because there's the last years of Jesus where they think that he went and studied in Nepal and became a Buddha, like a Dalai Lama.
Oh.
Wasn't Buddha before Jesus in chronologically? I don't know now. Again, I'm not fucking expert, but I thought Buddha was like.
No, so be a Dalai Lama.
Then. Took no serious with the fucking sexy frog behind you.
You had fingers from like two in the pink, one in the stinko.
From the shocker. Because like 2020 was like shit, and then like 2019 and 18 were like hugging each other and they were wet.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I actually want you to send me that. By the way, there's so many people I want to send that to.
Do you think Jesus was a Buddha? I
don't know. I'm not an expert on the timeline either.
Dalai Lama. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Dalai. Like I said, I'm
Dalai Lama. Sorry,
I'm not an expert on like the timelines, like when something happened. Like I can't even tell you when the first Buddha appeared. But I mean, I don't know. I think that somebody could have seen Jesus and looked at what he was doing and created something from that.
Or vice versa.
I've had some aliens on the street tell me they've seen Jesus.
I think I'm looking at Jesus.
I like that.
Keep that shit going. It's gonna catch on.
I've had women in the bedroom say they've seen Jesus. They like, Jesus, why are none of these taxi numbers answering? And...
You sure they weren't saying Jesus? That was quick.
And after 3 days, I rose again.
So wait, hold on. Does that make Jesus technically a zombie?
I'm trying to figure out why it take 3 days. That's
so good. That's so good.
So bad. Oh my god, this got weird.
That's good.
Oh shit! So
the res erection of Jesus.
You guys are all going to hell. Yeah, that was the ROC's episode for conspiracy theories. That was fucking weird.
We still didn't touch all the subjects. I wanted to talk about Skinwalker Ranch.
You don't? Oh
yeah, throw it out.
Keep your conspiracy theory boner inside your pants, Rise over there. Just fucking. You got.
I know. I heard that.
Well, see, that's my point. So that's why conspiracy theory part 3 will come up, and then everyone comes back and has an awesome time, and I'll try to figure something else out. But yeah, I was gonna say something, but I fucking completely forgot. It's horrible.
You were ending the episode.
You're an excellent host.
What?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Smooth, Rob. It's great.
Hashtag research Millhouse.
Hashtag
research Millhouse. It's gonna be
I like this conspiracy theory that Millhouse is a serial killer. That's
this is what I'm saying, dude. Research Millhouse covers all bases, baby.
I just sitting in the house reading on yours.
That's his last thing you hear as he's choking you.
Honey, is that you?
Oh, shit.
It should be hashtag salsa killer.
Hashtag salsa killer. It's all of it. It's all of it. It's all of it. Hashtag research Millhouse. Hashtag
stack them all.
Fuck. So for April Garcia, for the gentleman Rob or gentleman Care Bear, for the drunk Care Bear Vinny, for the Ninja Care Bear, no, the Mighty Boosh, and the Ivory Care Bear, Roman from Mr. Goodbeer. I should have said that Vinny and Noel are from under the MDK banner. Potty Snatchers.
Oh, we got all in the intro, man. We're all good.
Just all that shit. Follow them, look them up. And we're also on Ibble. Well, not the potties because they don't get anything over there. Yeah, you're Irish. That's the best part of doing it. But yeah. So thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Gentleman Rob, nothing? No?
Oh, I'm sorry. My phone was glitching on me. Yeah, I worked last night. I went to bed about 5, so I got up early to do this. So it was fun. I had a good time with you guys. I can't look forward to doing this again.
Yes, it was fun. You guys are hilarious.
Thanks, April.
That's good shit.
It was fun talking to you.
Words. I'm gonna go home now.
Could do it the Northern Lights.
Thank you for listening to the ROC. You know that group, Return of the Critics.
See you guys. I'm going home. Yeah, later.